for you, 'cause I know I'm gonna see you soon.
Baby, meet me under my umbrella. Life is sweet, yeah, under my umbrella. Ba 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 da ba, ba 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 ba, ba 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 da ba, ba da da da. Oh oh oh. Always sunshine under my umbrella. The world is smiling under my umbrella. Come take a chance, let's dream together. Oh, let's dance, baby, 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 underneath my umbrella. Woo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just one look was all it took, darling. I am hooked, hooked, hooked. Rain or shine, no matter now. We will be just fine, fine, fine. Under my umbrella. Under my umbrella. Under my umbrella. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your AEW Dynamite post show for Wednesday, March 23rd. Tonight on the show, Sting, Darby, and the Hardys have a wild one. CM Punk has a win over Dax Harwood and Johnny Hungy in the main event. Let's push the button and get the show started. There we go. I pushed the button. Here's the Johnny button. Johnny, Johnny Button, there he is. What's up, dude?
Well, you said Hungy was in the main event. I really felt like show was over after that 8-man tag because like that was everything in that match. Show like that was the peak of the show.
Yeah, I mean it was the peak of the show, but Johnny Hungy and his partner there, Alex Reynolds, against Daniel Garcia and Chris Jericho, they were the main event, John. Like there was quite a bit of show. There was like an hour and 20 minutes after that 8-man was over. So I know what you mean, but you know, it was the main event, John. You arguing that with me already? You're already nitpicking the main event wasn't the main event, even though it was the main event? Huh?
Didn't feel like a main event. I'm just saying that. Like the last match definitely didn't feel like it should have been the last match.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the show kind of dragged. I feel like the show was good for, half, maybe 3/4 of it, but then the last hour, half hour, it's basically as soon as, I hate to say it, but as soon as MJF hit the ring, the show kind of took a turn for the worse. Because before MJF, I mean, no disrespect, we all love MJF. MJF is a great promo, but tonight was not his best work. It was fine. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't groundbreaking. It was not his best work. Kind of fell flat to me. We started the show with CM Punk versus Dax Harwood. Excellent match. Then we had the Hardys, Sting, and Darby over Private Party, Butcher, and the Blade. Excellent match. Probably match of the night. A wild one. Then you had Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley against the Varsity Boys. And that was fine. And it was pretty good. And then Moxley did a promo afterwards that was pretty good. And then MJF cut this promo about Wardlow, and Wardlow showed up, and MJF says, "You're under contract to me, and you're banished from AEW because you don't work for AEW." And then we had Adam Cole and Jay Lethal. Well, before that, we had Trent, Chuck, Orange, and Wheeler doing a backstage promo. Then Adam Cole versus Jay Lethal. Then Hangman showing up and attacking Adam Cole, but then getting beat up by Undisputeds and friends. And then Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian saving Hangman. And then the Sammy Guevara Ty Conti promo. You know what I mean? Like, before MJF was kind of like the watershed. It was like, before MJF, good. After MJF, this show took a turn for the worse. Adam Cole and Jay Lethal was eh. The Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti, Dan Lambert promo was probably the worst part of the show. Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet, it's just so flat. No one cares. The Thunder Rosa interview with Vicky Guerrero interrupting and Nyla Rose attacking, like, eh. And then the Jericho and Daniel Garcia versus Hungy and Reynolds match, which was all right. It kind of picked up, honestly, because Johnny Hungy brings a lot of energy and the crowd was into him. They were chanting his name. Johnny North will never give Johnny Hungy any credit, but you could tell clearly the fans like him. Everywhere they go, the fans chant his name. So there's got to be something there. But I think from MJF on, the show kind of took a turn. Before MJF, all good.
Well, I thought Lethal and Cole was a pretty good match. I enjoyed that. I mean, it wasn't the greatest match we saw tonight, but it was fine, I thought.
Yeah, but, it was, compared to the first three matches you saw, it was not in the top three.
Yeah, the order was just what was off tonight. It felt like maybe they should have done it in reverse, maybe, but, obviously they're trying to get people to watch the show right away, so they threw out the really good stuff, and that worked. There's no question about it. Like, I thought the first maybe half hour was like, that's pretty great, especially because you had no commercial until you got to the second match. That felt really great, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But then, yeah, like you got so high, it's just you can't get past what you just did with the Hardys, Sting, and Darby. That was just too much.
Sometimes you get so high you can't get any higher, John. I know that from experience, brother. Although you can try.
There you go.
You can always try. Oh, boy. Yeah. So let's talk about the good stuff before we talk about the bad. Shout out to Angelo. Shout out to Doug Hepburn, Angelo Contagonis in the chat. Members of the team, don't forget to join, support the Ringside Report Network. Join.ringsidereport.net. Hit us up on Super Chat if you've got a question or comment for the show you want us to read on the show. Give us a Super Chat. Let us know what you think. And that way I'll be able to see what you're saying. A lot of chats, a lot of people in the chat saying stuff. Super Chats are bigger so I can see them and they're making noise. So it's helpful to see. And it also helps the Ringside Report Network continue doing quality professional wrestling programs like this one. All right. Let's start with CM Punk and Dax Harwood, the opening match. The Ass Boys, Cosmo Kramer, the Ass Boys were sitting ringside, and they were yelling at Dax. I think the Ass Boys and the FTR are going to wrestle next week on Dynamite, so they were setting that up tonight. CM Punk beat Dax Harwood with the Anaconda Vice submission, made him tap out. Very good match. I like Dax using the sharpshooter. Just a good old solid pro wrestling match. Both guys big Bret Hart fans. Didn't really feel like a Bret Hart match, but it was good. It was pretty good.
Well, I felt it kind of did in a sense where just things built up over time. Like they took their time with things. They didn't rush too much. Bret did a lot of that. Like maybe he didn't hit a lot of the traditional Bret Hart moves.
Yeah, but
well, except actually that suplex to the outside, that was definitely a Bret Hart kind of inspired move right there.
Yeah, but what did it really build to? Like, I don't know. The match was all right, but it just kind of felt like maybe it didn't have enough time to finish the story, but the story that they were telling seemed kind of thin. There wasn't a lot there.
Well, I felt they were just trying to outdo each other.
Yeah.
That's why they did the submissions at the end.
Yeah, trying to out-wrestle each other, trying to out, which is fine, but yeah, that's basically what they were doing. Which is all right, but shouldn't Punk have an easier time beating Dax Harwood?
I don't know about that one because like he's in the transition of like turning face. Like I don't know if they're fully faces yet. So I think it was important to give him a strong match.
FTR is turning babyface?
I feel like they are. Like if they're gonna feud with the Bucks, which I'm guessing they're gonna be feuding with, they got rid of Tully as a manager. It feels like they're gonna turn babyface. Like MJF said, the Pinnacle's not over yet, but I think it might be soon.
Yeah, I don't know about that. The FTR, to me, are better heels. And if they are going to feud with the Bucks, I could see the Bucks as the baby faces in that one. The Bucks helped Hangman win. The Bucks have stayed out of the Adam Cole Hangman story. Hangman was dressing like the Bucks a little bit. Like, I could see the Bucks joining up with Hangman at some point and going back babyface. So I don't know about FTR turning babyface for a feud with the Bucks, John. I'm not so sure. And with this Ass Boys thing, like I think the Ass Boys are the babyfaces here. They're getting cheered. So if they're going to wrestle the Ass Boys next week, FTR is going to be the heels again. Ass Boys are the babyfaces.
Like they're getting cheered, but it's not like a cheer in support of them. Like they don't like being called Ass Boys.
I thought they were embracing it at this point. They have T-shirts, don't they?
That's it. Billy Gunn embraces it. Billy Gunn likes it. It's good for his sons, but the sons don't like it.
Okay. Whatever. I'm not really that concerned with the Ass Boys and what they are either way. But I could see the Bucks being the baby faces in a feud with the what do you call them? FTRs.
FTR, yeah. I mean, wait and see. I mean, a lot depends, I think, when Kenny comes back. I mean, it seems like it's going to be a lot longer than we expect now.
Yeah. I don't know if it really depends on Kenny, though. I think the Bucks could do a thing with Hangman that could be apart from Kenny. Like, I don't think the Bucks have to wait for Kenny to turn one way or the other. They're their own entities. They're their own independent wrestlers, you know? Not independent wrestlers, but, you know. They're their own men. They don't need Kenny's permission. So CM Punk gets the win over Dax. I just thought CM Punk could take a little less offense from Dax in this match because he is one of the top singles guys in the promotion, and Dax is just a tag team guy. You know? Like, they're solid as a tag team. If it were CM Punk and somebody against these guys, I could say, okay, even match, fine. But CM Punk is supposed to be a singles competition expert, and here in this match with Dax, he barely escaped with a victory. So I thought maybe Punk could get a little bit, you know, because it was very back and forth. It was very like, oh, and for the most part, it was Dax getting more advantages on Punk than the other way around, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I didn't love that. I didn't love that story. I know people were really excited about this match and going crazy, and I think really because you see Dax and Punk in a match and you're supposed to like those guys and you know that they're good wrestlers, so you automatically, like, you give it 5 stars without even seeing it. But if you're really paying attention, like, yeah, it was good. It wasn't terrible, but I thought the 8-man was better. I had more fun watching the 8-man, which wasn't a solid wrestling match like this one was, but it was more fun to watch. I liked it better. It was my favorite match tonight, the 8-man. Even though it was crazy, it made sense. The Hardys make crazy moves make sense. You're like, oh yeah, that works. You know, like they do it within the confines of a pro wrestling match. They're doing it to cause damage to their opponents. I thought that match was fantastic. Was that your match of the night, John, or was it the Punk-Dax match? I thought they were both good, and on any other night, Punk and Dax would probably be match of the night. I'm nitpicking here when I'm talking about Punk not getting as much over, but I thought that 8-man was the best thing we saw.
Well, it really depends how you look at it. I mean, in terms of, like, what was the best wrestling match we saw? I thought Punk and Dax was the best wrestling match, without question. But then in terms of the best action we saw, 8-man tag, without question, because that was just absolutely insane, almost from start to finish. And that's probably why I think a lot of people would say match of the night for that one, because, like, I really didn't think they could top that. It was just so much, and it just was crazy, with Darby doing some crazy dives, Jeff being absolutely insane. Like, I think Jeff Hardy needed to make a statement, and he definitely made it tonight, without question.
I mean, Darby and Sting doing dives right off the top of the match. Sting did a dive off the top rope onto the Private Party as soon as the match started. None of this match was in the ring. They're all brawling all over the place. Butcher, at one point, picks up Darby in a powerbomb position, smashes him on one side of a stairwell, smashes him on the other, then throws him down a flight of stairs. Just rolled Darby down some stairs.
Yep.
That was crazy. Andrade was there to help because he's with them. And then Private Party did a double side effect on Matt Hardy off the stage through some tables. Everybody's going through tables. Then Jeff, like you're talking about, John, proving something in AEW, showing that he's still Jeff Hardy. Even though he's teaming up with Darby Allin, he's got young Darby there watching Jeff Hardy, the original, climbing a ladder, and you think, oh, he's just going to climb the ladder and jump off the top of that thing onto Butcher and Blade, who are laid up on 2 tables. But instead, he climbs up on, like, a piece of the arena. They're in the concourse at this point. It's like a window ledge on top of this huge window. So Jeff has got to be, like, I don't know, 20 feet in the air. And he does the swanton off the thing. Like, climbs to the top of the ladder, climbs a little further up, jumps off the thing, swanton, through Butcher and Blade, through both tables. There was some cardboard boxes underneath, but still. Guy's like 40-something years old. He's been doing this for 20-plus years. He's still doing it. Somehow. My God. I mean, that was the moment of the night. That's going to be an AEW highlight for years to come. The shot that they got of it, amazing. Perfectly placed cameras. The move was hit perfectly. It was beautiful. You couldn't beat that. And then the finish came when Sting kind of countered out of the Private Party's finisher there. I think he was supposed to hit the Scorpion Death Drop or land standing, but he kind of fell, and then he kind of picked him up, and Cassidy was having trouble staying on his feet with Sting holding his head backwards, and eventually they got to their feet, and then Matt Hardy grabbed the other one, and Matt did his twist of fate, and Sting did the death drop, and 1, 2, 3, good guys win. Craziness. Sting went wild. Jeff went wild. Matt Hardy. I mean, what Darby did compared to the old guy seemed tame. It's kind of nuts, even though he got thrown down a flight of stairs. But wow, and what a team. A team full of icons. Like, this team was amazing. The Hardys, Sting, and this new superstar, Darby Allin. And the guys that they're wrestling, they're just guys, but they did their job. They did well. But this team, what a super team. Sting, Darby, and the Hardys, like, what? That's star power, brother. I mean, they got these guys on TV, and they went all out. This is what you wanted from these guys. More than I expected. From Jeff and Sting, especially. Jeff Hardy's still doing Jeff Hardy things, John. Brother Nero still has that spot monkey addiction.
Well, just in this spot of the show, too, it's the second match. You're not really expecting something like this second match, and then for this to happen, it just kind of blows you away a bit. And to me, I'm just thinking right away, it's like, man, Texas is getting like such good wrestling, like for the next couple of weeks, and like it's already gotten some good wrestling. Like, Texas is the place to be now, pretty much.
Yeah, well, why not? Why not? Texas is going to be the place to be next week, right? All the indie shows going on, WrestleMania week, and then, of course, WrestleMania in Texas. It's a big couple of weeks for Texas wrestling. What are you, Stone Cold Steve Austin or Vicky Guerrero talking about Texas, John? You excited about Texas?
Last week we were in Texas, too, when Thunder won the championship.
Yeah. Well, it's a big state. San Antonio last week. Cedar Park, which is just outside of Austin. It's Austin, Texas, basically, where they were tonight. But yeah, why not? I mean, Texas has always been a great place for pro wrestlers. Still is. Keith Lee, Lance Archer, Dustin Rhodes are going to wrestle on Friday. Sammy Guevara is from Texas. Thunder Rosa claims she's from Texas, although Vicky Guerrero not too happy about that. That was a thing tonight. Thunder Rosa was interviewed on the stage by Tony Schiavone, and then Vicky Guerrero interrupted her and said, "Thunder, you're not a real Texan. Take your fake green card and go back to Mexico." It's just a strange promo from Vicky, but it was funny. And then Thunder's like, "Hey, I got my citizenship in the state of Texas." I was like, Vicky Guerrero defending the state of Texas. You better watch out, Kevin Owens. If Stone Cold doesn't get through you at Mania, excuse me, Vicky will come after you next. Anyways, Nyla Rose attacked Thunder Rosa from behind, and Vicky said Nyla's the real champion, and she's coming for the belt, and da-da-da-da-da. So Nyla Rose and Thunder Rosa is the new program. Britt Baker not on the show tonight. It was weird how they did the women's wrestling on the show. Did you notice they had like their own kind of portion of the show? There was no women's wrestling at all until we had Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet. Actually, Ty Conte was involved in the Sammy Guevara promo, and then Layla Hirsch wrestled Red Velvet, And then Jade Cargill was interviewed backstage, and then Thunder Rosa was interviewed on the stage. Like,
Right.
It was compartmentalized into like this block of not great stuff. Like Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet, worst match of the night. The worst.
Yeah, but I give them credit for the effort there, especially Red Velvet. Like, you could tell she was trying. It didn't work out too well, but she tried.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well, though. It was the worst match of the night. It was the only women's match on the show, and it was the worst match of the night. Like, disappointing.
Well, I feel like that happens more often than not, to be honest, with Dynamite. I mean, and you look at the other matches you saw, I mean, would you expect it to be the best? Like, I didn't think so.
No, I didn't. Far from it. Layla Hirsch gets the win over Red Velvet after smacking her with a piece of metal that she had hidden. She had 2 pieces of metal. One of them the ref saw, and then the ref takes a piece of metal away from her and then goes across to the other corner of the ring and ducks his head through the ropes to dispose of the metal while Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet are behind the ref across the ring, allowing them to do whatever. And, of course, Layla had a second hidden piece of metal that she hit Red Velvet with and won the match by pinfall. I'm tired of these referees in pro wrestling just, allowing themselves to look away from the action for as much time as they need. Like, why? Like, you know how when they start bleeding in matches, the referees put on gloves? You ever notice that? Like, they come in, they got bare hands, and then if there's blood, they put the gloves on. How come every referee doesn't just come into a match with gloves on? At this point, if you're going to put them on, because say this is a real fight, okay, and you're an official. You're the third person in that fight. You have to protect these people, right? If a referee in the UFC came into the cage with no gloves on, and then as soon as somebody got cut, you'd put his gloves on. Meanwhile, that person's getting pounded in the face and they're unconscious, but the referee's fiddling with these rubber gloves. It'd be ridiculous. The referee would never ref again. They'd be like, why didn't you put your gloves on before the match? Which, if you notice, every single referee in MMA wears the gloves going into the fight because they assume someone will bleed. Maybe they won't, but they probably will. It's a fight. So these wrestling referees need to do that. They need to come in with gloves on, all of them. If you're going to put them on during the match, it just shows you how fake it is. It's like, oh, this is the blood part. Let me put my gloves on. Well, what if something happens? Somebody's bleeding. Like, don't they need referee interference? It's fake. I haven't called for the finish yet. I got an earpiece. It tells me what to do. Fake. Bullshit. I'm tired of it. This finish was awful. The referee, he's got a piece of metal. You keep looking at the women who are wrestling. You take the metal and you throw it outside the ring. You never break eye contact with your job. You take the illegal weapon and you toss it out of the ring. You don't go to the other side of the ring, duck your head through the ropes, talk to somebody, dump the thing while, the heel's cheating behind you. It looks bad. Hated that finish. And then Layla applied an armbar to Red after the match, and Chris Statlander made the save. Not only did I hate the finish, I didn't care for the post-match. I cannot believe that this Layla Hirsch, Chris Statlander, Red Velvet feud is still a thing that we have to watch on Dynamite. It's supposed to be your A show, AEW, and you're giving me a D-level story. Trash. With F-level wrestlers. Fuck out of here.
Well, to be fair, they don't really have anything else. I mean, you saw Thunder Rosa, right? Britt was on the show. I mean, you say D-level. Really, this is as good as it gets, really. They don't have anything else.
So don't do it. Give me something else. Give CM Punk and Dax more time. Give Bryan and Moxley's match more time. Give Regal more time to talk. If you don't have anything else and you're just throwing this match on because, oh, we need a women's match, don't. Don't. Who cares what the nerds on the internet are going to say? Oh, there wasn't a women's match in AEW. Well, we didn't have one that was really suitable for our A show, so we decided not to put one on. Do you just want a token women's match, or do you want a good TV show? God damn. It's not that hard, man. It's pro wrestling. These fucking idiots treat it like it's complicated. Just put your A shit on every week. Just give us the good stuff. And, don't give people participation awards, TV time. That's what this is. This is some TV time because, oh, you're a good soldier and you work hard for us, so we're going to give you a spot on TV. Who does that help? The performer's ego? Okay. Does it help your ratings? Does it help your viewers? I don't think so. This story's garbage. Do something better with them. If you insist on putting Red Velvet and Layla and Statlander, give me something better than this bullshit story. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
I don't disagree with you. Like, that's not a great story, and like they should do something more. But sadly, they don't have anything else. But it feels like they want to progress Statlander. Something else. I don't know to what exactly, but hopefully this will only be one more match with her and Layla, and then we can move on.
Haven't we had this match already?
Yeah, but I don't know if you noticed, they keep saying like rubber matches for almost every kind of feud. So now it feels like they have to wrestle again.
Ugh.
And then probably maybe one more match.
Whatever. I don't care. I don't care about any of that stuff. Okay. What else happened on this show? Chris Jericho and the JAS. They did a promo backstage about their match in the main event with Hungy and Reynolds. Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley beat the Varsity Blondes. Is that their name? The Varsity Boys? The Varsity Blondes? I never know.
Varsity Blondes, yeah.
Whatever. Pillman and Griff. Danielson and Moxley beat those guys in a long squash. I was considering calling it an elaborate squash, but there was nothing elaborate about it. There was nothing complicated about it. It was Bryan and Moxley beating up these jabronis for a while until they decided to end it, which is fine. You got to have them just looking dominant over this team. Like this team, they're going to wrestle them for as long as they want. They're going to beat them up way past their expiration date. And they'll finish the match whenever they feel like they're done toying with these guys. And that's really what it looks like. Bryan and Moxley toying with jabronis until they're done. They're like a cat with a bird. You ever see a cat with a bird when they catch it? They don't kill it right away. They play with it. They torture it a little bit. Cats are sadistic. They like to torture their kill. And that's what Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley remind me of. Like a cute little kitty. Ferocious, but also adorable. I mean, what? But that's kind of what they're doing, They're toying with their opponents. They're toying with their enemies. And that's what they did tonight. A long squash. And then Regal, William Regal, Lord William Regal, as Moxley called him. Regal came in the match afterwards. He was on commentary. Moxley says he's lucky he's been able to wrestle and learn from some of the best in the business, but the only opinion he's ever cared about was from Lord William Regal. He says his partner Bryan is the perfect wrestler, and he is the great American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and they have been forged in combat together. Moxley says anybody who thinks they can stand beside them, now addressing any potential new members of the team, Moxley says you need to Reach down in your soul to find the place where you love pain. And if you want a badge of honor from the Blackpool Combat Club, there's only one way to get it. The hard way. Which, of course, if you don't know, is a reference to bleeding. The hard way is when you bleed for real, when you get hit with something and you are bleeding. Which would make taking a razor blade to your forehead the easy way? Right? Like, if
that doesn't really happen, right? In kayfabe, it didn't really happen like that. So
what do you mean?
Yeah. Like, they just happened to bleed. But hard way was like, usually that's like what happened with like Brock and Randy, right? When Brock just took his elbow and like grinded it on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hard way is just when you happen to bleed in a match, right? Like you get hit with something. Like Charlotte Flair punches Ronda Rousey in the face last week on SmackDown. Ronda happens to bleed. Hard way.
Right.
You know she tore like the thing. You know, like the little thing between your, I forget what it's called, between your lip and your upper jaw. There's like a little piece of skin there.
Uh-huh.
She tore that when Charlotte punched her in the face. Ouch.
Oof.
Yeah, right? Don't fuck with the queen. My God. Charlotte hits harder than Holly Holm. So Moxley says, if you want a badge of honor from us, you got to earn it the hard way, which, not just, the hard way, the easy way, or the hard way, but also, But again, I just that just occurred to me. If the hard way is when you bleed from something other than a blade, the blade would be the easy way, quote unquote, right? But that's kind of doesn't seem right, because to me, if I'm gonna bleed, I'd rather bleed from something accidental than taking a razor blade and cutting my own head. That seems harder. That seems harder to do. What do you think, John?
I mean, it's all about your preference, really. I mean, if you prefer, like, someone actually cutting you open with their actual, like, elbow or something, I mean, go ahead. Some people would actually prefer them cutting themselves, so.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to get cut in the head either way. So the Blackpool Combat Club, is that the name of their group? It's kind of cool, but only one of them's from Blackpool.
And he's not even wrestling. But
No.
whatever, I guess he put the team together. I guess he gets to name the team. And more than likely, they're going all the way for the tag titles, right? Like, this is just the eventual build for that to happen.
Yeah, and they're going through kind of the low-level tag teams building up to the Jungle Boys, and I think eventually they take them, and they get them, and they win the tag team belts.
Well, pay-per-view's end of May, so probably around that time.
Wow, already. All right. We got Angelo on the line. If you want to give us a call, you have to be a member. Angelo, of course, a member of the team. Join.ringsidereport.net if you want to give us a call. And I think you can call on the MMA shows, too. I know there was some talk in the chat about calling tomorrow night. Doug wanted to call tomorrow. I'm pretty sure we can call during Ringside Report MMA as well as the wrestling programs that we offer here. Angelo is a member of the team. He has joined, and he joins us here now. What's up, Angelo?
What is going on, guys?
Yeah, doing the show, hanging out. Talking about AEW Dynamite. You watched the show tonight?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What'd you think?
First half was great, was very, very good. Second half,
Yeah.
not so much.
Yeah. What was your favorite match?
The tornado match.
Yeah, right? It's crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
Jeff
It's
Hardy's
amazing
still
how
doing it.
Hardy, it's amazing how he can still do it given his age.
Yeah. That's it. How old is Jeff Hardy right now? Jeff Hardy.
He's 41.
Is he really?
I'm 41. There's no way he's 41.
Well, Jeff Hardy started in WWE pretty young.
He's 16.
He's 44, actually. He's 44 years old. Yeah.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy for a 44-year-old man to still be climbing up to the top of the ladder and doing those flips and going through tables. And it's not just crazy that he's doing it at 44. It's that he was doing it at 16, and he's still doing it at 44. Like, I remember, and I'm sure you remember, Angelo, in the 90s when Jeff Hardy was having his ladder matches with the Dudleys and Edge and Christian and doing all that crazy stuff. People said, Jeff Hardy can't do this forever. A guy like this can only last for so long. He's going to be in a wheelchair. He can't be wrestling like this forever. He's going to have to tone it down. He's going to have to do this. He's going to have to do that. 2022, he's still doing it. Now, is he the same as he was? Probably not taking the same amount of risks, but damn close. And for what he's able to do now compared to what he has done to himself throughout his body, like the wear and tear, the fact that he is not all worn and torn out by this point is incredible. It's incredible. No wonder he's had demons, you know? It's got to hurt. I need something to ease the pain. Good God Almighty. So, I'm impressed with Jeff Hardy. You got to love him. Right, John? Like, people were talking about Jeff Hardy's going to be in a wheelchair in, like, 1999. Look at him now.
Almost a quarter century later, and he's still doing it.
Say it again, John?
Well, it's amazing what he can still do. You know, it's just a testament to the fact that he was able to keep his body so strong for so long.
Yeah.
But I think he got smarter over the years, though, too. Like, I think he realized, like, he could do these crazy spots, but maybe, like, space it out a bit. I felt like almost every match he was doing it. Now it's like he has moments here and there. And it's probably better for him.
You think there's anything in Jeff Hardy that sees Darby Allin and knows he's in this big match here and goes, all right, kid, look at this. You think you're hot shit, but, hey, I'm the original with this shit.
I think Jeff's probably very supportive, though, because he probably sees a lot of him and Darby Allin, so probably more helpful, I think.
Yeah, but there's got to be some ego, you know? Like, here's a new kid on the block who kind of does a lot of the same things Jeff does. Like, Jeff has to show, like, he's still Jeff, you know? You always got to prove yourself. You're always proving yourself. The ego's always there, especially for a guy like Jeff who gets that high off that big rush, those big moves, you know? It was awesome. It was great stuff from Jeff Hardy tonight. I loved it. Angelo, what was the worst thing you saw on Dynamite tonight?
Oh, gosh. Another good promo was from MJF. I enjoyed that very much.
Yeah? Yeah, I didn't love it.
Oh, he's a king of promos.
He's
in my
good.
opinion these days.
Yeah, he's very good, but this was not my favorite MJF promo. You know? Like, what did he really say tonight? Other than he's going to strap Wardlow to a cross just like Jesus, which was interesting.
Come on.
Well, the crowd was chanting Jesus at him? What was that? Why was the crowd chanting Jesus at MJF?
I'm not sure if you're asking me. I have no idea why they were doing that.
No, I'm asking you, John. You have no answer? Why they were chanting Jesus at him?
Texas is very religious for some reason and decided to chant the Lord's name, I guess. I don't know.
Was that an anti-Semitic chant? Because he's Jewish and they were chanting Jesus at him to taunt him some way? I mean, that's the only way I can.
Like that.
That's the only way I can receive that. Would they be chanting Jesus at MJF if he was not a Jewish man? I don't know.
It happened, you know. Like nothing you can say about it. It's just
well, I'll tell you what I would say about it. I would eject every single one of those sons of bitches for chanting at MJF like that. Eject every single one of them. You can't be chanting something at a guy because he's Jewish. Ejected. Or let them come see me after the show. Me and MJF and Goldberg and some other guys. We'll fucking solve their problem. God damn. Right? What the fuck is that? You can't. Were they chanting Jesus at him because he's Jewish? Is that what Texas is down to? That's what Texas wrestling fans are doing? It's kind of fucked up.
Well, I guess he was okay then with saying the whole, like, tie him to a cross. I guess
Yeah.
that's fine then. So.
Hey, man, if you're going to bring it to MJF, he's going to slap you right in the face with it. Yeah, chant Jesus. I'm going to strap Wardlow to a cross just like him. Tremendous. It was a good promo from MJF. That Jesus stuff was a little odd. I was like, did I miss something? Talked about CM Punk, and he says he's going to give Punk the most embarrassing loss of his career when they rematch one day. Punk had to cheat to win and use Wardlow, and it won't be over until he attends CM Punk's funeral and pisses on his grave. He says the people in Texas like Wardlow because they're inbred just like he is, and Wardlow has a roof over his and his mom's house. He has a house because of MJF, and Wardlow shows up and tries to fight the security guards around the ring, but there's too many of them, and they stop Wardlow, which is kind of weak when like people in AEW seem to go through security like nothing, and Wardlow is struggling to go through these men. And
but
then
they used actual security, though. If you
Did
notice, like at first it was just fake ones, then they used actual later on.
Well, whatever. Like, everybody in AEW beats up security. Wardlow can't? I thought they're trying to build this guy. Apparently not. He loses last week, and now he can't even beat up security. Wardlow's looking worse and worse every week. He was looking better and better until last week. Last week was the end of Wardlow, and now I think it's a slow decline.
Well, they're going to keep pushing him. And this is clearly going to lead to a match with MJF. Probably again at the pay-per-view, maybe sooner, to probably try to get his contract back or something, or to win it, so then he doesn't have to be with MJF anymore.
Right. And if Tony Khan's such a good guy, why doesn't he just sign Wardlow to a contract? He's obviously a good wrestler who is a star and people like him. Like, why wouldn't AEW sign Wardlow? Doesn't really make sense, does it?
Did they not mention, I thought he mentioned last week or something about how in the contract, or it was 2 weeks ago, that they can't because MJF has the contract, so they can't sign another contract.
Oh, okay, because it's MJF's contract with Wardlow. And MJF says he's not going to release Wardlow from his contract. He's going to send him home and continue to pay him, and no one will ever remember him because he's going to be at home for so long, and he won't be on TV, and they'll forget he ever existed. Kind of like what WWE does to people sometimes, I guess. And then MJF says the Pinnacle is still a thing, and they're going to have some kind of match together next week. I guess it wasn't clear what that was going to be. Angelo, anything else, man, before we let you go?
Not really. Just enjoyed also the Jay Lethal match with Cole.
Yeah.
Thought it was a decent match.
Yeah.
I like the chanting back and forth between Cole fans and the other guys' fans. Very good.
Yeah.
Worst part of the show, I can't really think of one. Like I said, the first half of the show was great. Second half, not so much. I didn't really tune in that much to the second half. It was more the first half I was really focused in on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, first half of the show was really good. Second half, not as good, but not terrible. Overall, pretty good episode. A Dynamite. Angelo, thank you for giving us a call, man. Thank you for your support of the Ringside Report Network.
My pleasure. Have a good one, guys.
There he is. Angelo Contagonis giving us a call. If you want to call the show, you can. If you are a member of the team, go to join.ringsidereport.net, join.ringsidereport.net. Doug Hepburn says there's a dude who's known as All Elite Jesus who's a super fan from Austin, Texas. So maybe they were chanting for him? And they weren't taunting MJF? I didn't see him either. I thought it was odd. I thought it was an odd chant. If I was in the ring and a group of people started chanting Jesus at me, I'd be like, what the fuck is this? It'd be weird.
Well, I would think Zandig, actually. That's what I would think.
Yeah, okay, John, but, that's you. Do you not see how a group of people chanting Jesus at a openly, well-known Jewish guy could be seen as a little bit off? You see that, though, right?
I see that, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that happened, but
yeah,
apparently we could be off on that one. It might not be because of that.
I hope we are. I hope the fans aren't anti-Semites that are chanting Jesus at a Jewish man as a taunt. Because if they were, holy shit. I hope they were just chanting for a guy. But I didn't see the guy in the crowd, and I was just watching on TV, and I heard them chanting Jesus, and then MJF responded to them, and I thought, whoa, what the fuck? I want to circle back to the Bryan Danielson-Moxley thing. The Varsity Blondes have Julia Hart as their manager. She got sprayed in the face by Aleister Black from The Mist, not, anything else. And her eye, she got an eye patch, right? She's got like a bum eye or something. And she is like looking all sad during the match. She's not cheering her team on. She's still got an eye patch. She's sitting on the ring steps looking all sad. She's doing like a thing where Malachi Black has affected her in some way. It seems like Alexa Bliss and The Fiend. Like a similar thing. This evil guy did something to this nice little girl, and now this little girl's gone evil. Right? It's pretty much what's happening.
Well, it's just affected her mood, whatever. She seems to always be either depressed or like super angry. I don't know if this means they're going to be teaming her with the House of Black, but I think it's kind of how the Fiend would change people, but it didn't mean that they would join the Fiend. It's just they're different now. That's just the way they are.
So she's not going to join them? Because right now she's barely with these guys. Like, she seems uninterested in these guys.
I really felt like if they were going to do it, they were going to do it earlier, and they just never did. I think it's a lot like how the Fiend, like how Seth Rollins changed, how he was like face Seth Rollins, then he turned to heel Seth Rollins, but he didn't join the Fiend. He just ended up being a different character.
Yeah, but if she turns heel and becomes a different character, who is she with? Not these guys.
It's true, but does she need to be with somebody?
Well, that group is getting bigger every week, and they don't have a lady in it, so why not?
Possibilities, yeah. I don't know if she's that strong of a character, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know either. But, I mean, they're obviously doing something with her, right? So they should try something. Like, at this point, she's got the eye patch, she's got the sad face, she's looking away from the ring. They're doing something, right? I don't know if she's any good, but who cares? They're trying something with her, and, we'll see what happens. I haven't seen enough of her to know if she's good or not. I've seen enough of these guys, Trent and Chuck and Orange and Wheeler. They're backstage, and Trent says, I never liked you, Wheeler, and I want you out of the group, because last week Wheeler kind of left the best friends and wanted to join the Blackpool Society of Friendship, and Regal slapped him, and basically they're like, yeah, you suck, Wheeler Yuta. We don't want you with us either. And then Trent is like, well, you tried to leave our group now. You're out of here. Orange and Chuck were good friends to you, and I never liked you, so get out of the group. And Wheeler's like, look, Orange and Chuck, I love those guys, but I never liked you, Trent, either, and I want to be the best wrestler I can be, not the best friend, and then he leaves. So I guess Wheeler Yuta is no longer part of that group. Like anyone cared about anything Wheeler Yuta's ever done. Pointless. Don't like it.
Well, they have been using him quite a bit, though. I feel like he's been on Dynamite almost every single week recently, so it feels like they're building him to something. I have no idea what exactly, but I guess we'll wait and see what they do with him next.
They push a lot of guys I don't really care about. I don't care to wait and see what they do with him next. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, whatever. If he disappears, he disappears. Adam Cole beat Jay Lethal after the boom knee and a low blow. His friends Fish and O'Reilly distracted the referee, so Cole punched Jay Lethal in his penis and then hit him with a knee in the back of the head for the pinfall victory. Cole then cut a promo on Hangman. Hangman showed up and started beating up the Undisputed guys. And then they turned the tables on him and beat him up. And then Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Christian made the save and ran them off. But Cole stole the AEW title belt from Hangman, so I guess He'll be walking around with that for a while. And Adam Cole and Hangman will continue their lukewarm AEW title feud. Ugh.
Well, they only had a regular match, right? They didn't have a stipulation match yet, so probably have to have that. But that will probably happen before May, I would imagine.
Oh my God, they better not waste another pay-per-view on this. I think Punk.
I don't think they.
Punk and Hangman,
Yeah.
I think, for May, right?
Well, Punk did signal for the title, right? And they speculated, oh, it could be the TNT title or tag titles. I'm like, well, obviously it's the world title.
Yeah.
That's kind of stupid, Excalibur, but whatever.
Yeah, Excalibur. You want to hear Excalibur just fail speaking?
Well, I heard that. I think he called like Thunder Rosa he. I think that was the problem.
Did he? Listen to this.
Yeah, and then I think
Listen
he's
to
had a brain
this.
fart.
Listen to this.
We'll hear from the newly crowned AEW Women's World Champion, Thunder Rosa, after her historic victory last
After her. What the hell was that? We'll hear from
'Cause I
Thunder
think-
Rosa after her. Listen to this.
Hear from the newly crowned AEW Women's World Champion,
What?
Thunder Rosa, after her
Her.
victory last Wednesday night.
How is this guy doing commentary on TV? I may stumble over a word every now and then, but you never hear me go, Thunder Rosa. It sounded like he had a stroke mid-sentence. And then somehow snapped out of it and was like, "Rawr, I'm back on the show. I'm back." And what the fuck is happening?
Like, I think he realized he was going to say he stopped himself, and it came out like that.
It sounded like he had some sort of medical episode mid-sentence.
Well,
Excalibur.
it sounded like you actually heard his brain fart, pretty much. That's what it sounded like.
Never has a guy's Twitter handle been so appropriate. At Shut Up Excalibur. Yeah. He knows. He's self-aware at least. It should be Shut the fuck up, Excalibur. Fuck. Motherfucker. Twitter.com.
Well, I think they just use him too much, to be honest. Like, he's on almost every show, or if not all the shows, actually. So, like, maybe they shouldn't overuse him as much.
He's not very good. I don't really like him. I find him irritating.
Like, he knows the moves. That helps a lot. Like, he knows a lot of the wrestlers. He's wrestled a bunch of the wrestlers.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps. But, yeah, like, I just find maybe, being on the main show, being on Rampage, doing Dark, it's too much for him.
Speaking of people I find irritating, Sammy Guevara and Ty Conte did an in-ring promo here. Sammy talked about losing the TNT title, but it's okay because he's still got the ring where he can wrestle and do moves for the fans and give them holy shit moments. And he's heard that the bumps will catch up to him when he's older, but he doesn't care because he's living for now. The bumps. Holy shit moments. Like, this promo was so everything that pro wrestling should not be, but is for some reason. You have this skinny fucking jabroni guy, this flippy idiot, coming into the ring, talking about how it doesn't matter that he lost the title belt, which should be the reason for all of wrestling, title belts and winning and losing them, because he is more concerned with doing big bumps to pop the crowd. This is his fucking promo on TV.
Right?
What in the
More.
fuck?
Oh, it gets worse.
I mean, did it get worse because Dan Lambert showed up? I mean, I guess it got worse. Tay, your favorite, John, Tay got the fucking mic. We all want to hear Tay Conti talk. Tay says she wants payback from Paige Van Zandt, and bitch, you're going to get your ass kicked like you did in your entire fight career. Carajo. And then Sammy Guevara.
It's hilarious.
Two skinny jabronis. Fuck. Sammy Guevara comes out.
Super chat.
He's like, oh, come out, Dan Lambert and friends. And then Dan Lambert comes out with Scorpion Sky and Ethan Page, but not Paige Van Zandt. I'm like, you brought the wrong fucking Page, Dan Lambert.
He explained why.
Yeah, he says, Paige Van Zandt is the biggest free agent signing in AEW history. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And she won't show up in shitty towns like Austin, Texas, because it's in her contract. She doesn't have to be there. It's like, okay, yeah. I also saw Paige Van Zandt signed to an AEW contract, just had her first pro wrestling lesson like last week with Gangrel. First lesson.
That's a good teacher.
Yeah, good teacher, but first lesson, you got signed to an AEW contract? I don't have high hopes for Paige Van Zandt's wrestling career. Paige Van Zandt is more concerned with her look than her fucking in-ring. Always has been, always will be. Ty Conte's right. Her whole fighting career, she did get her ass kicked. And you know what? She started off with some potential. Potential that fucking... As soon as she got on Dancing with the Stars and became a little celebrity, she said, well, fuck fighting. I'm a celebrity now. And I don't know if she's won a fight since. She went to goddamn bare knuckle boxing. After she left the UFC, she went to bare knuckle boxing. She gets released from the UFC because they didn't pay her enough money. She went to bare knuckle boxing and she lost there. You're supposed to win there. And she lost to a girl that she beat in the UFC already. They really set it up for her. Rachel Ostovich. Paige beat her in the UFC. They're like, oh, bare knuckle boxing. Paige, they signed her to a big money contract. And she came in and she was a flop. Hey, Tony Khan. Maybe call Dana White and ask him if you should sign Paige Van Zandt to a big money contract. He'll give you a fucking good estimation of Paige Van Zandt's talents. Ask Bare Knuckle Boxing and ask them if they're fucking happy with signing Paige Van Zandt to a huge fucking money contract. See if they're happy. I can't imagine that they are when their investment fucking got smashed. She was supposed to win her first fight. She got smashed. She says she's going to fight again this year. Hear that, Tony Khan? Paige Van Zandt, who's had one pro wrestling lesson, who you've signed to a contract, also plans to fight this year. Oh, but she's going to fucking deliver on her AEW contract. What the fuck? You know? She's a disappointment. I like Paige Van Zandt, but she's a fucking disappointment. She fails at everything except, you know, showing her ass. She's good at that. She's made a lot of money doing that. Other than that, I don't know. I feel like when she started in the UFC, she was a way better fighter than she is now. That's not how it's supposed to go. You're not supposed to get progressively worse at fighting throughout your fighting career, especially in your 20s. Like, what the fuck happened? I don't know who's had a bigger fall from grace, Paige Van Zandt or her ex-boyfriend, Cody Garbrandt. That man is a former world champion. Now he can't fucking take a punch without going to sleep. Paige Van Zandt can't take a punch either. Anyways, enough shitting on Paige Van Zandt. Let's shit on Ty Conte, who Dan Lambert called Lucha Horace. And he called Sammy Guevara Tiny Tim. Lucha Horace. Lambert says that they can kiss their match goodbye because they're not going to do the match with Paige Van Zandt and Sammy Guevara or whatever. And then Scorpio and Ethan Page leave, and Lambert kisses the title belt because Lambert says that he and Scorpio are co-TNT champions because they still have two title belts from when Cody was champion, but then he was we had COVID, so Sammy Guevara won the interim title, and then Sammy and Cody unified the titles, but Sammy was walking around with 2 TNT belts. So then when Scorpio beat Sammy, he won 2 TNT belts, and now Dan Lambert is wearing one of the belts, and Scorpio's holding the other belt, and Dan Lambert says he's co-TNT champion with Scorpio Sky. And then Sammy says, oh, Lambert, I see you kissing the belt there. I know that we live in your head, but if you knew what Tay and I did with the belt, you would know that we live in your mouth too. And then Lambert is like all disgusted. And I'm like, you fucked the belt, Sammy? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What did you and Ty Conte do with the belt? You stick it up your ass? Like, what are you talking about? It's disgusting. You drag your balls on the belt? And if you did, like, what the fuck's the matter with you? None of these people are likable. Ty Conte and Sammy Guevara are the least likable couple in the history of professional wrestling. And I'm including Lana and Rusev, Miz and Maurice. You fucking take your pick. Billy and Chuck, they are the least likable fucking couple in the history of wrestling. Doug dropping a super chat. He says, Dave doesn't miss a thing. LOL. What did I not miss? I don't even know what you're talking about at that point. Sorry, Doug. The super chat came before. What?
Probably the Excalibur thing he's probably talking about.
Oh, yeah. Fucking all. Anyways, this was horrible. This is horrible in so many ways. Ty Conti's horrible. Sammy Guevara's horrible. They're worse together. You said they're the new Cody and Brandy. They really are. Except I kind of liked Cody and Brandy. I really don't like these two. They're not likable. And they're supposed to be the baby faces, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be the baby. And I guess they kind of are the baby faces, right? If you're going to Stan Lambert, like whoever is against Stan Lambert, it's pretty much the faces. And, they're trying here. I mean, you haven't seen Sammy cut too many promos by himself. And Ty, definitely not. You could tell it's not easy for her, but she's trying. So that's another thing, too. Cody's had a lot more experience at this. But I feel like the crowd was very mixed about it. Right away, they didn't seem likable to start, just coming out. So I feel like they're going to turn them eventually. But it's going to take a bit of time because Sammy is very exciting to watch in the ring, though.
Yeah, and that's really all he's concerned about. Big bumps and high spots for his fans. Not winning championships because it's all fake. It's all about the performance.
He's very disrespectful if he's like crapping over the titles or whatever the hell he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, he's shitting all over the wrestling business. He's like, the title, it's fine, but I still get to do what I want here. And they say the bumps will catch up to me when I'm old. Who cares? The bumps will catch up to me. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing big bumps. I don't care about winning and losing title belts. Get out of the wrestling business. I'm so sick of these fucking wrestlers that wrestle like this. And think like this. And think, like, he came out and he said that shit and he thought this is a babyface thing to say. People will appreciate this. Holy shit, man. How the hell does he think that was a good idea? And how the hell is nobody backstage telling him, hey, that was kind of fucked up what you said, man. Somebody should slap the shit out of him for saying that. Where's Undertaker? They're in Texas. Taker lives in Austin. Taker should fucking pull up on a bike and slap the shit out of Sammy Guevara for talking that way about professional wrestling, just out of respect for the business. Take a tombstone and rest in peace. Ridiculous.
He'll kick out at 2, to be honest.
They are too soft these days. Sammy Guevara is too soft. He's confused about what he's supposed to be. Too busy fucking title belts. Sticking him up his taint. Fucking idiot. Oh, you
That's possible.
shouldn't put that belt in your mouth. Me and Tay fucked on it. What?
See, that's disrespectful. Saying stuff like that, doing stuff like that. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what a face does. But I think he meant a lot of what he said. That's his outlook on stuff. And, you know, it's
Yeah.
not a face, but it gets a reaction, that kind of response. So
Spot
I just
monkey.
feel eventually
bullshit.
they're going to be heels.
Yeah, well, he's a heel to me. Holy shit, that
Already,
promo.
yes.
Oh, it pissed me off, man. That promo was insulting. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat again. Thank you, Doug. You're the super chat leader of the night. He says, Johnny is a champ. Ask him what happens with champs and their belts. You've had title belts, John. You ever stick them up your ass?
I brought them to your place. You remember that? I had it on the show one time.
Oh, yeah.
I had the British Commonwealth Championship.
Yeah, you didn't stick that belt in a weird place, right? Because I touched that belt too. I hope you didn't do anything weird like Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara. You know why I call him Guevara, right? Puts his goo all over the title belts and Ty Conte and whatever else comes near him.
A lot of hate here. Wow. I don't hate Sammy that much. Like wasn't a fan of some things that he said in the promo, but
Well, this promo was obscene.
Yeah.
In more ways than one. Like, it was gross. He's talking about doing weird shit with the belt, like kind of leaving it open-ended so we could assume anything. What did you and Ty do with the belt?
You know, I'm starting to think, though, like, it's not easy for a couple to be, like, faces. Like, it's just so easy to hate on people. It's tough for a couple to be liked in wrestling. Like, you got to give us a reason. And like I stated on Twitter, they never gave us a reason why we should like these two. They were just, well, suddenly they're a couple together. See that even with Macho Man, like that took time. That wasn't liked overnight. That took years, actually.
You're telling me nobody liked me and Elizabeth?
Not at first.
Ooh, yeah, they did, brother. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. They loved him.
Macho was a heel at first, though. And then Macho was like a bit of a psychopath. There we go.
There you are with the belt.
Wow.
World champ
still,
Johnny.
Like, moving my head.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Talking, yeah. It's nice
and now we're gone.
It's like a memory, like little thing we had right there.
Yes. The history. And Johnny never dragged his balls on the title belt because he's got respect for the belt in the business, unlike Sammy Guevara and Lucha Horace. I'm not calling her Lucha Horace. That's offensive. Dan Lambert is offensive. I don't condone that type of talk. But Sammy Guevara seems about right. Jade Cargill, the greatest. She's that bitch. They're talking about win number 30, and she doesn't care who the opponent is going to be. They keep dismissing the opponent, like, the win's going to happen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Is it going to matter? Is it going to be like somebody that's going to beat Jade? I'm worried now. They're dismissing it too much.
Yeah, but I could see it being someone who's like challenging. It'll be a tougher match than expected, but someone to actually beat her for the title, like unless they're bringing in like Mickie James or like Trish Stratus, like I don't see that happening.
Toni Storm.
Even Toni Storm, like
ooh,
I mean, it'd be
money.
nice for her to show up. Yeah, but she's gonna win right away.
Hey, she can make money on OnlyFans and wrestle. Take that, Paige Van Zandt.
I mean, that's great for her and all that. I'd be surprised they just take the title off Jade that quick. Off Toni Storm, like I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I would too. I hope Jade doesn't lose because I want to see that celebration she was talking about with the money falling and the green confetti and green Lamborghinis and luxurious exotic dancers. I think she meant male exotic dancers, and a special section for the baddies, John. The baddies. You want
to explain this?
What do you mean? The baddies?
What's the baddies? Yeah,
like the bad bitches, the beautiful ladies that are in Jade Cargill's entourage, her friends. her muscular goddess friends. And they have to sit in a special section because they can't sit around with the slovenly AEW fans. Special section for the baddies so that they can see Jade win and then get a nice show with the exotic dancers, probably just in that baddie section. Trying to get myself a seat just near the baddie section just so I could kind of hang out with Jade and the baddies. You don't know about the baddies, John?
I know you talked about the riff raff before. I remember that.
Oh, riff raff. Yeah, the baddies are opposite of riff raff.
Right.
Right? Riff raff is on one end, the baddies on the other end, Jade and the baddies, don't fuck with them. Riff raff, Layla Hirsch, Red Velvet, Chris Statlander, riff raff. Jericho and his riff raff crew came to the ring in the main event.
I was going to say, there's a lot of riff raff that I think you find in AEW. So.
Wow, there's so much riff raff, bro. I mean, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page are riff raff. Sammy Guevara, riff raff central, brother. Sick of that guy. Chris Jericho and his friends, they show up to the ring, and Daddy Magic, Big Magic, Matt Menard on the mic says the people are not appreciating Jericho enough. They don't deserve to sing the song, and if it's up to him, there'd be no more song and no more singing. Even though they sing the Judas song coming to the ring, he believes that they don't appreciate Jericho enough and that they don't deserve the fun of singing his theme song. Fans chanting Johnny Hungy as soon as the match starts. It's Hungy and Jericho in the ring. They showed a picture of young Johnny Hungy meeting Chris Jericho, like 12-year-old Johnny Hungy meeting Jericho. Do you see that? I thought that was nice.
That was at the start of the show.
Yeah, that was cool. Jericho kicked the ring steps outside the ring at one point, and the referee thought that 5 and 10 had tossed Jericho into the steps. A little bit of an Eddie Guerrero-style tribute there from Jericho that got 5 and 10 of the Dark Order ejected from ringside. Hungy took out Jericho and went after the whole Jericho Appreciation Society, took everybody out running around the ring, even Hager. Hager looked like he was going to powerbomb him, but Hungy reversed with a Hurricane Rana. Hungy kicked out of the code breaker, did a big dive on Hager at one point, got slammed on the outside. Garcia distracted the ref. Jericho hit Reynolds with the baseball bat, which allowed Garcia to apply what they called was a Scorpion Deathlock for the submission win. Jericho and Garcia over Hungy and Reynolds in the main event. I don't know about that. Was that a Scorpion Deathlock, or did Daniel Garcia just kind of fall?
Well, that's his variation. Like, that's what he always does, actually.
It sucks.
So, I'm not saying it's great or anything. I'm just saying that's what he actually always does pretty much all the time if he ever wins a match.
Yeah, I think it sucks. I think it absolutely sucks. I thought this match was all right, though. I love Johnny Hungy when he fires up. And I know you're not the biggest Johnny Hungy fan, but can you deny that the people are into him everywhere they go? I don't think you can.
All right. He gets a good reaction, but it feels like the result's always the same. He has a good showing, and they always come short in the end.
Yeah. Don't you think at a certain point, like, he's getting a good reaction, he has a good showing, he's pretty good in the ring, he's very good on the mic. Wouldn't you think at a certain point the results would change for a guy like this? This over, this talented. I don't really understand. Like, okay, he's in the main event, he's wrestling Jericho, and it's cool, and yeah, he's not going to win this match, but at a certain point you would think, Hungy and Reynolds, they're going to turn it around and maybe have something go their way. Like, I'm surprised Hungy's still kind of, he's there and he's not. I feel like they're gonna do something with them down the road. They're just waiting. But you know how being over is. You can't stay over forever. And if the crowd realizes after a few years, like, he's just not gonna be that big of a star in the company, he's not gonna be that over. He's one guy that I don't understand why AEW hasn't capitalized on more. He's the one guy that
Yeah.
I don't get it. Because everybody likes him. He's good in the ring. He's great on the mic. Like, he's got everything you'd want. He's short. But, fuck, they all are in AEW. So who cares? They're not as short as he is, but, I mean, he's more jacked than a lot of their guys. I mean, Adam Cole, right? A little taller than Johnny Hungy. Not very tall, but Johnny Hungy's, like, way more jacked. So, I don't know. Hungy's believable in the AEW world. On that roster, he's believable. I don't get it.
Well, I think part of it is just because he's in the Dark Order. And you kind of see it where Dark Order, they've also kind of plateaued as well. And it feels like this has been going on for years now. Like, before they were heels, now they're faces. And it's like the same thing where it's like they'll get to a certain level. Maybe they'll get to a pay-per-view match, but they'll never win that pay-per-view match. You know, maybe they could win, like, the buy-in, you know, win a big scramble match kind of thing. You know, that's pretty much their highlight. But when they're wrestling top names, it feels like they always fall short. Like, again, I feel like with the Dark Order, like, they've done as much as they can. Like, unless he's going to break away from the group, I don't see them going any further.
I think there's room to evolve with the Dark Order. They just need to put more emphasis on them on TV. If you watch Being the Elite, the story with the Dark Order always changes, always moves along. I would recommend that you check out Being the Elite this week, John, because it was only like 9 minutes. The Young Bucks weren't on it, and Stu Grayson cut a hell of a promo on Hangman. Just watch the Grayson promo. It was very good. It was about 30 seconds to a minute. That's all you really need to see. But it was worth it. And there was some evolution of the Dark Order and who they are and how they're reacting to Hangman now aligning himself with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Christian instead of them. Which is something going on kind of in the background, right?
I think that kind of hurts it, though, too. Like, it's in the background. It's not on the main show. They never even acknowledge it whatsoever.
Yeah. And you would think that it would be good not only for the Dark Order, but maybe for their world champion to have a kind of backstage promo and emotional segment and wrinkle in his character, you know? Like, Hangman's a good guy, but he seems to have abandoned his old friends for the tag team champions. Does Hangman not believe in the Dark Order? And even teaming with the tag team champions, still lost against Adam Cole and his friends last week. So why not team with the Dark Order? Seems like Hangman's getting a big head. He's too good for his old friends in the Dark Order now. You know, like there's a lot there that if you just scratch the surface a little bit, you got a couple good segments. And then I don't have to watch Sammy Guevara cut a promo. If I had Hangman Page talking tonight, I wouldn't have had to watch Sammy Guevara. I would much rather 2 to 3 Hangman segments on a show to expose your world champion, let people know that this is Hangman, he's our champ, this is his show. This is what he's involved in. This is what's going on. Do that. Push Hangman instead of giving me Layla Hirsch and Red Velvet and a Sammy Guevara and Ty Conte promo. I'm not wrong. And it's not that hard. It's pro wrestling. Goddamn, nobody back in the day when Stone Cold Steve Austin was doing his thing on Raw said, oh, there's too many Stone Cold segments on this show. He's the world champion. It's just too much. Let's just have one Stone Cold segment on our A show. Could you imagine if there was an episode of Raw where all Stone Cold did was run in kind of halfway through, beat up a couple guys, then get attacked, then get saved by a bunch of jobbers, and then that was it? How would your world champion look then? Like, it's not that hard. You just got to think, okay, well, how would this work if it was Steve Austin? Go from there. Like, you don't have to hit stunners and do beer bashes, but just like, okay, if Stone Cold hit the ring, who was a world champion built strong, or John Cena or Hulk Hogan? How would it work? Would they come to the ring, get a little over on these three guys, and then get beat down by them and have to get saved by a fucking dinosaur and his little Tarzan boy? You imagine. Imagine Hulk Hogan getting saved by fucking Jungle Boy. You know what I mean? It'd be ridiculous. But that's what Hangman's
by the
doing.
Warrior once.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if you're going to have backup, Warrior's pretty good. I don't know. To me, Ultimate Warrior 1991 is a little more intimidating than fucking Jungle Boy. Or Two Left Foot Luchasaurus. I mean, Warrior looks coordinated next to Luchasaurus, which is saying a lot. Jesus. If you could barely hit the ropes, why do a moonsault? Like, what is going on? Doing too much, knowing too little. It's crazy. Anyways, that was Dynamite tonight. I think I liked it.
Didn't sound like it at the end there, but okay.
Well, there's a lot of bullshit on the show, right? Like, I liked the first hour, but then the second hour was kind of like, First hour was way better.
Like most shows are like that, I find.
Yeah, but it felt like there was a big drop-off. You know what I mean? Like, usually the first hour Dynamite's pretty good. It's like a 7 on 10, and then the second hour Dynamite is like a 5 on 10. This week, it felt like the first hour Dynamite was 9 on 10, the second hour was 2 on 10. You know? Like, it was big difference. And, again, it's the quality of the performers, and it's the stories that they're into, but a lot of time it's just who you're putting out there. Ricky Starks is going to wrestle Swerve Scott for the FTW title on Rampage on Friday, which actually should be a good match. I think Swerve is really good. I think he's going to make an impact in AEW. I hope so, at least. He's a very talented wrestler. Like, him and Starks, I think are going to have a really good match on Friday. I think Dustin Rhodes and Lance Archer have a good match, too. I'm looking forward to that. 5 and 10 will wrestle Red Dragon. Like, don't care about that. I wonder who's going to win. Nyla Rose will be in action. So she's going to win a squash match against a jobber. When they say in action, that means doesn't matter who her opponent is. And QT Marshall will present a certificate of accomplishment to Hook on Rampage. Whatever that means. I guess Hook will be like, oh, I don't need this. And QT will say mean things to Hook. And Hook will attack him. And then we will have Hook and QT at some point. Or have they done that already?
Yeah, they did that at the buy-in.
So why is this?
For whatever reason, they want to continue this. I do not know why. I guess they have nothing further for Hook, so he's got to finish this off and do QT again. Maybe this hopefully will lead into his next feud.
Yeah. Whatever that will be. I don't know. You know, Hook, it's been a slow build. Has he ever wrestled on Dynamite? I feel like he's a Rampage guy.
Yeah, I think it's just been Rampage and the buy-in. That was it.
Darby Allin is an A-level talent. He will wrestle another A-level talent, Andrade, on the A-Show Dynamite next week. That should be excellent. And then FTR will wrestle the Ass Boys, and that's all we know about Dynamite next week. Darby and Andrade should be very good. Looking forward to it. All right.
Yeah, it should be decent. Should be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. He says, good job. Thank you, Harold. Thank you, Harold. All right. I think we're good, John. Anything else?
Well, we're counting down days to WrestleMania. It's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
Biggest show of the year.
Yeah. Ugh. I'm not really
Don't
focused.
worry, you'll survive.
Yeah, whatever. It's happening, I guess. Whatever. Doug Hepburn, you are the super chat leader of the night. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Harold, for supporting the Ringside Report Network as well. Good to hear from Angelo Contagonis tonight. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you to all the members, Angelo, Harold, Doug, everybody checking in here tonight. Appreciate you supporting the Ringside Report Network. And I'll be back tomorrow night to give you more wins, more picks, win more money with the Ringside Report team. We're on fire. My parlays have come through 2 weeks in a row. I feel like I got more good picks for you tomorrow night, so get ready. I was doing research today. I was watching some old fights, and I feel like we've got some good angles and some good plays to make. I think Sarah McMahon is going to cash in for us this weekend. Little preview for you for tomorrow night. Sarah McMahon. All right. And that's it. Thank you, everybody, and appreciate your support. And I'll be back here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Ringside Report MMA, and then back Friday with Johnny North, 10 p.m. Eastern Time after SmackDown for Wrestling Uncensored, and then we'll be a week away from WrestleMania. God damn. Wow. You think Cody shows up on Raw Monday or Mania?
I'll say Raw. I mean,
Yeah,
it could be Mania, but I'll say Raw.
I think Raw. Because Seth Rollins said that he's going to hold up the show if he doesn't get his WrestleMania match on Monday, right? So, Cody should show up.
It really feels like it was supposed to be Shane, but obviously they changed the plans there.
I thought Shane was going to wrestle Austin Theory.
No, that's what he wanted to do, but they didn't want him to do that. They wanted him to wrestle Seth Rollins.
Oh. So Pat McAfee was Plan A?
Sadly.
Oof. Yeah, WrestleMania. I'm sticking everybody on WrestleMania. Everybody I don't want to see, they're appearing on the Omos show, WrestleMania. I guess you didn't see the Raw post show, John. Omos called WrestleMania WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and all the
that's
jabroni matches. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to put you on WrestleMania if you're not careful, John. Go to WrestleMania.
I'm not worried.
Yeah, well, the island of WrestleMania. All right. I'll watch WrestleMania and you watch WrestleMania, and then we can converge, and then, Basically, you watch all the matches I don't want to watch, and I'll just watch the good ones, and then we'll be all right. Can we do that?
So NXT.
I don't want to watch NXT.
Oh, exactly.
Is that WrestleMania? I don't know. All right, that's it. I'm back here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. for Ringside Report MMA, and that's it. Okay? Doug Hepburn, you're the Super Chat leader of the night. Thank you, Doug. See you tomorrow.